the real spiritual and historical tension between the descendants of Ham and Shem, especially in the last days as the true identity of Yasharel is being restored and revealed, especially among the so-called African Americans and scattered melanated people worldwide. So who is Shem and who is Ham? Well, let's start out with Shem. The ancestors of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yasharel, the chosen covenant people. Yahusha came through this bloodline, Luke 3 and Genesis 10 and 11. Ham, the ancestor of Cush, Ethiopia, Mizraim, Egypt, Put, Libya, and Canaan. Powerful nations in ancient Africa. These were not cursed except Canaan, who was cursed to serve Shem in Genesis 9:25 through 27. So not all Hamites are cursed, but they are not chosen bloodline of the covenant. Yasharel in America, lost tribe of Shem. The so-called African Americans, Caribbean people, and other diaspora scattered by their transatlantic slave trade are overwhelmingly descendants of Shem, not Ham. They are the southern kingdom of Yehuda, Levi, and Benjamin. Brit from West Africa, where many fled during the Assyrian and Babylonian invasions, preserved by Yahuwah to be awakened in the land of their captivity. In Deuteronomy 33, I will gather you from all the nations where I have driven you. And Jeremiah 17:4, you shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave you. Many Africans today, the Hamites and some Shemites, don't realize this prophetic divide. So when they say you have no culture, no land, no heritage, they are speaking out of ignorance, repeating colonial lies, operating in jealous or dismissive spirit. Yet they're the ones fleeing their own countries due to corrupt governments, war, poverty, and famine, lack of opportunity. Yahuwah is allowing this conflict to bring clarity to who his chosen people really are. So why is the conflict between Shem and Ham? Well, in Genesis 9:27, the prophetic tension, blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem and Canaan shall be his servant. Ham's descendants often ruled ancient civilization, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Canaan, but the blessing of Yahuwah rested on Shem. Today, some Hamitic people feel superior culturally or historically, unaware that Shem's descendants have endured greater judgment and will receive a greater reward, as in Isaiah 61:7. The colonial indoctrination, both Shem and Ham were colonized, but Shem in the Americas was completely stripped of identity through slavery. Meanwhile, many Hamitic Africans still retain language, tribal names, and land, so they mock those who lost theirs, not realizing they are mocking prophecy. In Isaiah 14:16, they that see you shall say, is this the man? They shall narrowly look upon you. The spiritual blindness and envy in Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. In Isaiah 11:13. Also the envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Some Africans unknowingly carry colonial Christianity, tribal pride, or Islamic influence that causes them to reject the awakening of Yasharel in America. But Yahuwah is removing that veil. So the truth, Shem and Ham must be restored righteously. Not all Hamites are enemies. Some do recognize Yasharel and are awakened to the truth. And Yahuwah has a remnant among Ham, Japheth, and other nations who will join themselves to Yasharel in Isaiah 56:6-8. Say, we have inherited lies, Jeremiah 16:19, and serve alongside the remnant in the millennial kingdom, Zechariah 14. So why are they mocking us? Well, because your awakening threatens their pride. Because they don't know who they are either. Because your return fulfills prophecy that includes judgment on nations, including African ones who sold or rejected you in Joel 3:1-6. Because many of them are still blind to the covenant. But Yahuwah will vindicate his people. In Ezekiel 36:23, and the nations shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. So Yasharel, you already knew he's going to be hated. You just seeing the hate is being exposed louder. But stand still and don't worry about it, because Yahuwah is fighting our battles and he's exposing who they really are.